these two teams right here being like the standard bearers of what college basketball has been for so long. The only shame is that it's not a Roy Williams coach team. Is that it's Hubert Davis, right?
Mm-hmm.
If there was one thing you could change about the story, it would be it's both Roy and K's last year.
Right.
But Roy went out just 1 year too early, and I'm super excited to see how this game plays out. I can't imagine there's more, hate going on from either side, because after they beat Duke last time, North Carolina was all on Twitter, all their players talking about, oh, you hate to see it. What a shame K had to end like this. And, like you said, it might not be the end. Could karma come back, or are you guys going to beat them again? Because that's a game. Duke was up, 10 with, or however many points they were up with like 8 minutes left. And then, they fumbled and choked the game away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is a team that, they dumped on North Carolina in Chapel Hill a month and a half earlier. Had no problems with the Tar Heels, beating them by 20 plus. And then to turn around and have that second half against them at home in what should have been Coach K's last game against his biggest rival, it looked real bad for Duke memories. And now you've got one more shot. The thing that blew my mind was, these two teams over the last 20 years, the number of national championships they had, the number of almost, just contending teams, 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed in the NCAA tournament, and the fact that they had never met before now. And then I saw the rules, and I was like, oh, this actually kind of makes sense, because there's all these rules in place for teams in the same conference. If they are a top 4 seed, they can't be in the same. And the earliest they could face each other was a Final Four. So when you think about how great both these teams have been for 20 plus years, it makes sense now when you hear that they couldn't have possibly been. It's not by chance. There are rules to bracketing, and yes, they create storylines. I didn't think this was going to be one of the storylines we saw. When we saw Michigan State and as the 7 and Duke's 2, like, okay, we're going to get Izzo and Krzyzewski one last time because it's the second most ever by 2 coaches in the NCAA tournament. It's 2 legendary coaches, 2 Hall of Fame coaches. Why not give them one more chance to battle it out when it's Coach K's last run? That made sense to me. I didn't see North Carolina steamrolling, Baylor before letting them back into it. And then continuing this run, and tough fought battle against UCLA. They really steamrolled the Peacocks of St. Peter's. It just happened to be that time. But both these teams gelling at the absolute right time. We had talked about, Duke growing up in the NCAA tournament. They grew up in those final few minutes against Michigan State, where we had a 5-point lead, and we weren't able to close the door on them. North Carolina was in the same situation. Duke shot outside shots, settled for outside shots, didn't force the issue like they did against us. So we saw them grow and become better. We saw it against Texas Tech as well. And Arkansas was just outclassed. That was an easy matchup for Duke in the Elite Eight. So now we got it one more time. We've got the legendariest of basketball rivals for college. And it's not for all the marbles, but it's almost for all the marbles.
They're pretty close.